It's a great sign.
Now I gotta do this quick. We're closing today, but I'm gonna email you.
So,
what building do you live in?
so we're going inside. Stay with
How many
us.
of the units have been emptied? And those are the market rates?
Let's take a peek of them. Maybe they peaked it up now, but they do stuff like this. They just break the locks out and then what? That's the way it is. Here's a quote from me.
This was an occupied apartment?
This was an occupied apartment, and it no longer is. I guess they don't want anyone looking in there right now. Go up to the third floor because 4 out of 6 of those units have been empty.
Oh wait, there's no elevator?
No elevator.
But why would I pay $5,000 a month to live in this building?
This is a typical treatment. When they gut a place, this is the kind of decorative door they like to do. And this, if you read this notice, it sounds like, "Dear valued tenants of 325 East 12th Street." And it makes it sound like they're very friendly and fuzzy, but everything else we get from them besides these pieces of paper on the wall says the exact opposite. You're fucked and we have no respect for you and we don't care about your rights. And this is typical. Check this doorknob out. That's the way they like to do things. That's like, to them, that's a fixed doorknob. Oh. I'm going to go this way. Most of the times the floors are off and the only thing they leave is pipes. So you can tell because you can see down in those other empty
How many
ones.
units here?
36, and he's gutted 14 so far.
And none have been refurbished or whatever?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm not positive about that, but I don't think so.
They're just sitting.
They're sitting
He's just
here.
he's basically emptying out the building.
He's warehousing. You can see more. Actually, let's see what's on this side. Yeah, you can see the garbage, Brad. You can see, if you look down to the second floor in front, you see all that wood in there? On this, wait, move over a little. See, like that window?
Oh, yeah.
So what they did in the summer is they left a lot of rotting garbage in these apartments. And it took us a while to get that this is just strategic with him. This is what he does. So we had a lot of mice problems. We had a lot of bug problems. You can see the strip walls in that apartment. And he's basically emptying them and leaving them to rot. And he's trying to make it as disgusting to live here as possible.
Destructive, yeah.
But the verbiage that he uses from his lawyer in court, or what he says on his website, or what he says to the press, is how he really cares, how the people in the East Village are such wonderful people. If you look on his website, he comes out and says Donald Trump is one of his heroes. So he's like, there's just...
Well, it's the same word.
Exactly.
It's total doublespeak, and he's learning from the master, so...
How long have these been sitting vacant now?
He's owned the building since September... a year ago this past September.
But you have a vacant
Yeah.
unit. What was that like when he was demolishing the interior of that?
It went through phases. There was a lot of pot smoking. That was one thing. There was a lot of loud workmen.
But how were they taking the materials out? Through the window or through this doorway?
Usually they would take it out through here. So they would there's a bunch of us who have medical problems. So we would tell them, this is a very old building. Once you start demo, lead and all this other stuff that's no longer up to code is coming out, and we're living with it. So I would have them try to notify me when they're going to bring stuff out. And so you go through months of a lot of dust, and you try to, like in the winter, those things to keep a draft out. You try to seal your door and your window.
Who lived in the apartment before?
There was one tenant who was there for about a year.
Rent stabilized?
No, he was market rate.
But you rent stabilized.
I'm rent stabilized, because I moved in 77, so
Yeah.
that goes way back.
Yeah.
So most of the people living here now rent stabilized, would you say?
I would say a good proportion, but yeah, a good portion of us are rent stabilized because there are many people
The oldest woman is 90-something, first floor, so she's been here the longest. And there are a bunch of us that are older, I'm 62.
How do they get rid of people? Like how?
It depends on who you are.
Okay.
If you are not as educated, they'll try, and you probably don't realize what the statute is, or you might not realize it, or you speak Spanish and you don't, they go for those people first. It's really disgusting. In other buildings, they've actually had people show up at night and be threatening, like you have no right to live here. And so if you don't know to stay in touch with your constituent, your colleagues, your fellow tenants, you're feeling like, you have to get out. Other people just, I think, got worn out with the amount of harassment, because it's really, what I find is that I have always had low blood pressure. Now my blood pressure is up because it's just the stress of feeling like even when you go home you're not safe. It's just this horrible, you feel harassed, and a lot of people have stomach problems because it's too stressful. So we have a physical home, but we don't have the feeling of we're safe at home. But you asked me, how do they get people out?
No, that you kind of did answer the question, but...
Yeah, but like the guy above me has a little kid, and they probably needed to move anyway to give the kid more room to run around.
Yeah.
So he was kind of happy taking a buyout, but the word is that he hasn't been paid yet. So the other thing is, if you do accept a buyout, I personally don't want to depend on Toledano to do anything he says, the same way I don't trust Trump to do anything. It's the same, he'll say whatever. He'll say whatever he needs to say to get what he wants, and then you have enough money. Like, stop terrorizing people.
When did he buy your apartment, the building?
He bought the building in September of 2015, so last year, September and then a year ago.
And then the gas cut out when?
May.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been 7 months, no gas. Yeah.
What, do they just blame Con Ed?
Well, his demolition is what started,
Yeah.
whatever they did, break a pipe, or I don't know what they did, but that's when Con Ed came in and said, this is not safe.
Yeah,
We're turning up the gas to the building.
Yeah, and
And then you remember what happened on 7th Street,
Yeah.
3 buildings and two deaths later. So I was glad they turned up the gas, just because I don't want to come home and feel like we're the next 7th Street. But,
right, yeah.
and some of us were like, okay, through the summer we'll eat salad, but now that it's cold out, you want soup, you want roast chicken, you want Thanksgiving.
Is there any indication they're working on restoring it? Is there any, are they going to replace gas lines? Is that the plan, or have they not even told you?
They are, on paper, always saying that they are doing everything possible, but I filed the HP action with the whole group of us, 8 of us, who have gas stoves. We've been in court 5 or 6 times so far. Every single time there's some administrative minutiae they dig up in our papers, which is the reason we can't get it. So we want an adjournment, we want a stay, we want another 9 months to fix the problem. And what it looks like to me is that Toledano wants to sell the building, and he has no intention of fixing the gas lines. That's what it looks like.
They haven't filed a plumbing permit to do any work on
They
it?
filed a permit, but the other piece is that they don't pay the permit fees. So the permit
Just
is
expired.
then moot. So then we go into court and they say, oh, but our permit expired. And then our lawyer says, well, your permit expired because you didn't pay the
that's
fee.
such a bogus
I mean,
argument.
it's like this loop of insanity that just keeps going around and around. It's really, infuriating.
That's what they teach them in harassment school.
You know,
You do this and you are protected because you are doing whatever is, the regulatory requirements, and they find within the regulatory how to, swim with it so that tenants
so that it looks like
right.
one thing
Bare
to the
minimum
public
to
and
look like
everything
the native
else
shows
that's
it,
actually
right.
going on is...
What did you say? It's like a crazy...
It's like a crazy loop. It's like this continuous loop where, when we started, we kind of figured maybe he's acting in good faith, but after going through this so many times, it's very obvious that he's acting in bad faith, that he's saying what he needs to say and doing whatever he wants. And I don't think he's working on the gas lines now. I think he's trying to sell the building. He's been in here in the past couple of weeks showing apartments and showing the building. I went down the stairs
it's one of
last
them,
week and there were
yes.
8 suits in this, right where we're standing, 8
Yeah.
guys in suits talking about what his lawyers are, where they can be contacted, but, you know, he doesn't talk.
Toledano personally?
Toledano personally. He's a little guy, he's 25 or so years old, he's a millionaire, and he's in over his head, and we think that he's trying to sell this building because he doesn't want to fix the gas line, because it's expensive.
Well, he might be
So
here
you
just
think
to
he's
turn
trying
it
to
over.
empty it to make it
Certainly
more
yes.
attractive?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I think
This is one
he's
of the
he's
techniques.
refused now to renew my lease, which runs out at the end of December, even though I've been here 40 years, because he wanted this whole front. Like, if I would just get out, he could do whatever he wants. He even said as much, that, you know, it's easier for him to renovate a whole section of the building at one time, so he particularly wants me out because I'm in the way.
And what grounds did you give for refusing to renew?
I own a house upstate.
Oh, okay.
And
Not
there's
primary
no primary residency, but the statute for primary residence is you need to spend 183 days a year for that to be considered primary residence. I spend about 70 to 75 days a year upstate. So I'm not anywhere near primary residence, but he's doing everything he
So he's
can.
brought cases against you
Oh, yeah,
alleging
I
you
had
don't
to
live
hire
there?
my own lawyer, that's a separate case, yeah.
Wow.
So that's the thing, you know, I'm spending a lot of time, I'm spending money I don't have. Plus, to be quite frank, I'm fucking angry all the time because I feel like he's just preying on us and on me, and I want to get on with other things I have in my life that are more important to me, but I can't. I have to defend my, you know, I have to defend my home. So anyway, what's distressing to me is I think he's just one of a group that kind of want to prove that might makes right and greed is good and all that stuff. That, you know, I think this is the climate we're in right now. And unfortunately, I think when the regulatory holds on banks and, you know, predatory lending and predatory real estate, when those are lifted, we're going to see a lot more of this. I mean, I just feel like I came here as a starving artist when in my 20s, and you can't come to New York like that anymore. Where are you going to live? You have to have 6 roommates. So I'm just concerned not only about our situation, but just New York City
will have to
belongs to others besides the wealthy, you know, and that's the point. And this is just a little piece of a much bigger political picture, so.
Brad, do you know what can be done, like from your end? Is there anything that you specifically, your office can do? I mean, you're a state senator. You're not-
We've met with them. Well, first of all, I mean, this can't be the cost of doing business, and that's essentially what our legal system has created, where landlords go to court, they hire lawyers, they combat the tenants. Thankfully, that we have good attorneys on this matter, but a lot of tenants aren't in a position to even have an attorney represent them in housing court. It's very expensive. It's time consuming. People are trying to make ends meet. They don't have the energy or the health and well-being to actually make battling their landlord a full-time job. And so we need to increase fines on bad landlords. They have to hurt like these tenants are hurting in order for them to get the message. At the moment, landlords essentially can write off these fines and legal costs as a matter of doing business. And you see this, and they're playing a game all across the city, emptying buildings for luxury developments. Look,
So 14 units in this
president-elect's
building are empty.
son-in-law is a master of this shell game.
Somewhere.
He's and this landlord seems to be learning from Croman, Kushner, and their ilk. I hope that we'll receive a favorable judgment today. But I understand that you guys have met a lot of pushback from the presiding judge in this matter too.
Yeah, the other thing that's disturbing is the judge, I think he's pretty friendly with the guys in it's Burden, Belkin, Wenig, and Goldman. And it just so happens that the lawyers for our landlord is the same lawyer for Donald Trump. So it gives you some idea of
Yeah.
Lawyers for
overview.
Toledo are the same lawyers for what aspect of Donald Trump? For Toledo?
I'm not sure, you'd have to do your own research on that, but this is what I understand. And just think about it, this is one building and there are
How
14
did you
units
hear that?
here. What was that?
How did you hear that they were the same lawyers?
I don't remember. If
From
I
the
did
early
remember, I
Justice
don't know
Center.
that I would
Yeah,
say
early
that
Justice
right
Goldman.
now.
What's
but,
the name of it?
Goldman.
the name of the firm is Belkin, B-E-L-K-I-n. Burden, I believe, B-U-R-D-E-N. Wenig, W-E-N-I-G. And Goldman, G-O-L-D-M-A-N.
And my office and the local assembly member and the borough president and the council member have all met with the attorneys about another Toledano property where we got them to got the gas turned back on. But
Where is
again,
that?
that was,
1957, I think.
That was
Thank you.
when was that?
that was about 6 months ago. So.
How long were they without gas?
Months as well.
9 months, she said.
Yeah.
One tenant or many?
Numerous, yeah. So it's a long list, and it's like playing whack-a-mole, because you address one issue and another one crops up.
I'm sorry, I missed what you were saying initially. Was it that, did the gas go out for some legitimate reason? Like in that building, there was probably the pipes they needed to be replaced, and Toledano clearly explained.
What happened was he was doing demolition on different apartments, and during that process,
So
something
he caused the
happened.
problem.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So this is why.
The woman downstairs said that it wasn't caused by him, his work. She said that it was just exposed. That Mendez's office and other elected officials ordered there to be safety sweeps or safety inspections, and then the process of inspecting DOB discovered gas leaks in the basement and other apartments, and, for
Then
pre-existing.
maybe what I said is incorrect. I don't know. I
Right.
understood that the gas situation came to light during the demolition, so I could be wrong.
We could say it
Sorry
that
about
way.
that.
Came
Yeah,
to light.
I mean, came to
I mean,
light.
they either could have knocked some pipes or something like that. I mean, gas leaks
Yeah, a
are-
lot of the guys who were in here did not seem particularly on top of their game, so I think they were recklessly swinging sledgehammers and demoing,
Sure.
and to them, it's just a building, it's not their home, so that's kind of how it felt.
Right.
There were 20 buildings, all with the previous landlord, and there was no issue in those buildings before Toledano took over regarding
Yeah,
entire buildings losing their gas.
It's
Right.
suspicious.
Yeah.
and
You
the
said
thing is,
that, I'm sorry, Mr. I got
Yep.
You said that previously you, Stringer's office, and who else?
Brewer,
Uh-huh.
Mendez.
All together?
Yeah, we had a group meeting that my office organized.
Stringer,
And not Stringer, it was Brewer,
Brewer,
Kavanaugh,
Cav,
Mendez, and one of them.
Mendez met with Juan Toledano when?
About 4 months ago.
Well, not
And
Toledano himself,
Hoyleman
right?
herself.
But
He didn't
no,
show up himself.
To restore the gas
and
at this,
actually
what,
it was
East 7th
organized by
Street?
Cooper Square. But
At East 7th Street?
yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Which is it, what's the number again?
I'm not in really official capacity,
Cooper,
95 East 7th.
you guys know.
yeah,
Yeah,
Cooper's
And so
Square.
the gas got put on there.
Yes,
Mm. And why did you all come together around that one building, or was it just?
because of
It was
the
such a
urgency.
long
Yeah,
time.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
and many tenants were out without gas there?
Yes.
Uh-huh. For 9 months.
Yeah, ask
Sammy Chester.
he'll know the details.
Of
He
the-
put the meeting together.
Yeah.
But you said it's like whack-a-mole to keep
It is.
addressing to each individual one. Can you get a meeting with him to address all of the buildings?
Yes,
at
we
once?
will. I mean, I'm headed back to the office to put a call in right now.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, okay, see you guys. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Looking in the apartment.
So, thanks very much to all of you who put in the time to watch. Glad that we were able to capture this, and hopefully it wasn't boring for any of you. Hopefully it was enlightening, and you get to see the circumstances under which we have to live and battle on a daily basis.